Just talk to us about how you did come to this, though, as a job, how it kind of came to be. Because I think it was, from a young un, you had a lot of difficulties with your health, didn't you?
I did, yes. I mean, I must start to say I've had great love, great support, and many blessings in life. So I try and look at that always.
Yeah.
But by most people's standards, as a family, the little Williams trio have had quite a battering.
Yeah.
And the thing I most want from that is loving purpose.
Yeah.
And there must be some courageous, joyous, hopeful resilience in that. But that doesn't undermine the difficulties that we've had. And we have had very significant batterings with health over a very long period of time, with actual very little medical support or knowledge.
Yeah.
So we've been very much on our own, but we've also had tremendously brave parts of help. So I try and see the blessings that I've had, but also be very realistic that life is very unfair for some people, very bumpy, very unpredictable.
Yeah.
But at times there's utter heroic hope in us all.
Yeah.
And even just this morning in your foyer, which was an utter adventure, I saw somebody cleaning the floor. And I saw everybody who walked past that floor trying not to make it dirty.
Yeah.
And it's those pure moments of loveliness which we all overlook.
Yeah.
But those moments of being polite and considerate and kind, they just hold us together. So that's really the essence of life, Joy. Love, integrity, fortitude, energy, joy, order, and you.
Yeah.
You put all that together and it helps you cope with life.
Absolutely, it does. It 100% it does. It is the small things. And we're going to chat about that in the book. I've been blessed with a book, Your Life Joy Year 2, Hopeful Thoughts for Each Day. And we're going to talk about that in 2 ticks. Just back to your kind of personal journey yourself, little Becky. Just tell us about the ME that you got struck down with, because that really changed your life, didn't it?
Oh, completely. And every decision I've made in the last 30 plus years has been dependent on my health.
Yeah.
To every decision of how far I park the car, whether I walk around my bungalow, every decision, major and small. So I have been very blessed with a lovely family, but at 17, I got glandular fever. And I had been very fit, very classic ME, very fit, very strong, very busy, very diligent, all the good things. I was the headmaster's daughter.
Yeah.
I adored my parents. I tried the best I could. But what I didn't do was rest when I got that initial infection. And like a lot of people, especially who end up severely ill, it just got worse. And overnight, I was ruined. This wasn't being a bit tired or a bit, I'll have a duvet day. I didn't even know what that was. I couldn't function. My bodily systems just went down. So my walking went, my balance went, my digestion went. I had raging sore throat and glands. My neck met my collarbone. I was so swollen. I'm still thrilled to have a neck now.
You've got a beautiful neck.
That it works.
Yeah.
And that I can speak to you and breathe properly.
Yeah.
My energy levels were completely ruined. So, getting to the bathroom was all I could manage in a day.
And at 17, that's a huge amount to deal with, because you're dealing with everything else that's raging around, the uncertainties of what's happening in life, exams, relationships, all of that stuff that's going around. And then to deal with that as well. Do you think you had a kind of inner-built resilience, or have you had to learn it? And that's what's enabled you to kind of go on and teach everybody else it?
Well, I think it's in us all. I think what we need to do is find it, but also sometimes very nasty circumstances bring it out in us.
Yeah.
But often people say things like, well, grief does funny things to people. Well, I think great grief and loss and difficulty in life also can give us the chance to show us who we are.
100%.
Our bravest, our wisest, and that we can still look to contribute.
Yeah.
Even when we're battered and hurt.
Yeah.
We can still hold on to our manners, our hope, and that mighty question I say to everybody that I work with is, what can we do to make it a bit better?
Yeah.
Or a bit less bad?
Yeah,
So
that's interesting.
It's quiet, and sometimes those things are very tiny.
Yeah.
And feel insignificant.
Yeah.
But consistent effort, consistent work on how we think and what we do. And, very simple things like, what are you eating? How are you sleeping? How are you living your interactions? How are you managing some rest? Because lots of healthy people have no rest and eat rubbish and wonder why they've got headache.
Yeah.
So health and normality are great gifts in this life.
And we kind of, I don't think we appreciate those enough, or maybe have gratitude until they're gone. And that's when we start understanding.
Yes.
And let's just talk very briefly as well about your granny, because I know she was very important to you as to, when you started writing and the journey that you've gone on to go and help other people to find their joy. So tell us about your granny.
Yes. Well, my granny, Ivy Madeline, was my greatest friend, and she was the quietest woman, the shyest woman, but the bravest woman in the world. So it proved to me that you can be a terrified, tiny little thing in the corner who didn't want to speak, And yet she went to China and ran a mission hospital in the 1930s.
Oh my goodness.
Learnt the language, ran a woman's hospital, so she was
Wow.
fluent. And when she was panicked in her 80s, she would revert back to that.
Really?
It would be hilarious. And she'd tell me off in Chinese.
That's fantastic.
But she was calm and faithful, but mightily bold.
Yeah.
And she had a life that was a roller coaster of difficulty. And, you know, I had 20 years of severe ME, which was 12 to 40 weeks a year, housebound, bed or hospital. Very limited life, very restricted. But I had that example and I used to think, well, Ivy went to China.
Yeah.
I'm stuck in this bedroom. What use am I?
Yeah.
And yet those values were transcendent. It didn't matter if she was in Manchuria or if I was in Penshaw. What mattered was trying to do what I could do with what I had.
Yeah.
So she was remarkable, but she was also frightened and shy and nervous and worried and all of the things that we all have. And yet. And it's the people who are the and yet people who always inspire me.
Yeah.
So she could worry for England.
Yeah.
Don't worry if you're worried. Make a plan and try.
Yeah. And the book, Your Life Joy, Year 2, Hopeful Thoughts for Each Day. So tell us about the book, because it's not just a reading experience, is it?
I hope not. I hope
No.
it will make you smile, but I
Yeah.
hope it will make you stronger.
And think.
Yes. I talk about hope a lot, but hope needs help to go with it, which will make you happier.
Yeah.
So there's a lot in there. Every month has a theme. So there's a little reading for every day.
Yeah.
And it's my favourite kind of book to read and to write.
Dip in and dip out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And lots of my readers say, oh, I look on my birthday. What did you say on that? Or I just read the whole thing in an afternoon.
Yeah.
Somebody once sent me a message on Boxing Day saying, when's the next one ready? I've done it.
Did you say that's not really the way it works?
I was thinking, okay, no pressure. But there's a theme for each month, like trust and truth and joy and contentment and wonder and awe and honourability, the things that really matter in life. And there are little parts that will help you think about your own life, the people you love, making better friendships,
Yeah.
doing what you're here to do, but also make you smile because some ridiculous things have happened to me in life.
And you smile through
and
them.
I try, and I sometimes one of my friends says to me, Becca, your life.
Yeah.
And I try, and you know, sometimes when you try and do something very kind and it all goes wrong, and you
Yeah.
think, oh, I once took a tray of plants and thinking that somebody would choose a plant, and they took the tray.
The entire tray.
So the whole of the rest of the people who were meant to get a plant didn't get one. So I've had numerous moments, but
Did you find the joy in that at least they had all those plants and they'd have they'd have loved that, and it made you laugh as
they
well?
were so happy.
Yeah, that's it. I suppose that is it, isn't it? It's like me losing my earring at the weekend. I lost this. Oh, my auntie Sue bought the most lovely earrings, and I lost one in South Shields, and I was getting myself all upset. And I'm thinking now, well, somebody will be wearing that platinum earring and really enjoying it. Or they might hear me talking about it, and maybe I'll get that earring back. Who knows? So is it about flipping your thinking then? Is it about reversing your thinking in a sense? Because we can get into this negative mindset.
I think a lot is said about mindset.
Yeah.
And it's very easy when you've had a very strong, fit life and
Yeah.
you decide to do a marathon or the North Run because
Yeah.
you can. And that takes some motivation and some discipline, and it's wonderful. But if you do the work, you can do it.
Yes.
So you should. Wonderful. Thank God you can manage it. But what about the people who have no chance? Getting out of bed this morning is difficult.
Yes.
Getting dressed, getting fed, managing to cope with the day.
Yeah.
So it's those margins that
Yeah.
if you're reasonable, you can set a goal and do it. That's lovely. Go on.
Yeah.
But it's how you get through the normal functioning that I work a lot with. You know,
Yeah.
transforming the burnt out areas of our life
Yeah.
into some balance and some blessings. And one of the things I would say is not to be toxically positive,
Yeah.
but to be realistic and see what can I offer with my little bit of treasure that's in me.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah.
And even if that's just getting through to lunchtime, if this morning's very difficult,
Yeah.
you've got through, and it might be better soon.
That's so interesting as well what you said about the toxic positivity, because I do, I've heard about that, and I try not to be that, even though I'm sort of try and be a glass half full person. Also, you don't want to be one of those people that's just like, everything's fine. Da, 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 da. No, you've got to have realistic things and realistic little goals that you can make life better for other people.
Exactly, and yourself. And it's not always flipping your thinking, it's evolving it to being a bit wiser.
That's interesting.
So wiser, more logical, calmer as well, to not just run on emotions, but what do the facts tell me? What is the evidence showing me? Then you can make good decisions.
Yeah.
When you make good decisions, you have a better day. When you
Yeah.
have a better day, you become more practiced. So I often say what I try and do in Life Joy, both with my books and one-to-one work, is I help people think wisely. then they speak wisely, then they write wisely, then they get where they need to be with more grace. And sometimes they will meet adversity and difficulty and bad behaviour. But how do we measure that within our own capabilities? Is we learn from it, we keep going, we dust ourselves down, and we find an avenue where we can succeed. So there's lots of things that I can't manage to do still. My health is still very dominated by, lack of energy managing. But I'm still trying to get well.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to work on it.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to count my blessings, but I'm also trying to be a blessing where I can.
That's interesting. And when you're a blessing where you can, does that make you feel better? Because I always find if I'm not feeling very well with myself mentally, if you try and look outwards instead of looking inwards, it actually makes you feel better. It's really weird.
It's very powerful.
Yeah.
What can I do to contribute and care? And sometimes that's just a smile to a person that you walk past in a corridor, or it's how you treat somebody who's in a more menial position than you.
Yes.
It's can you give my husband's a big tipper.
Yeah.
I've been very, very fortunate. I have the bravest and most honourable father in the world who has suffered so much, and yet, so he has great problems eating. And yet he gives so much to the food bank.
Yeah.
And it makes me weep with pride.
Yeah.
And he can't go and run the food bank. He can't even go and sometimes take the stuff. But his garage is full of things and it gets collected.
Yeah.
At that most profound level. And my husband gives big tips.
Yeah.
And
Because it'll spread joy.
it's wonderful.
My dad does it.
Yes. And so wherever we are on that, and I mean, a big tip is not always money. It's
No.
encouragement. It's thank you so much. I see your kindness.
Yeah.
So what a lot of people need is their self-worth rebuilding.
Yeah.
But in rebuilding their own, they build others.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the man who I reversed into the other day.
Oh!
Who said to me, he said, I went, oh my God, I went, I said, take my details to do. It was right outside of our house. And he said, oh, I know, honey, things happen. I'll have to paraphrase that for the radio, but things happen. He went, I know where you live. I'll just take your Christmas sweeties next year. And I thought he could have reacted so differently and he didn't. So
It's choice of reactions. And it's also all right to be frustrated or irritated or angry. But what it isn't all right is to be vengeful, aggressive, proactively nasty, or self-piteous. Those things will not take you forward. They will only take you down. And I never want to be a person who's embittered, negative, or says, but.
Yeah.
We say, thank you.
Yeah.
This is nasty. What can we learn? And be stronger, firmer, wiser, and deeper from all of the experiences that we have. So I often say to people, stages in life come that are difficult.
Yeah, of course they do. And like your midlife, your 50s is hard. You're watching your parents, demise. It's difficult. You're watching, Mum and Dad, I know you're listening. You're doing all right, 89, 90. But you're watching that. You're worrying about kids. You're in that kind of weird sort of place in your life where you're seeing yourself change. It's hard.
It's very hard. And it's also what I call luxury problems.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
They are challenges, of course. And when roles start to change, your children don't need you quite as much, but they need you in different ways. Your parents quite aren't as strong as they used to be. But I often say the more proactive care we put in, pride comes before a broken hip. So can you put some things in place to make yourself as safe as possible? Can you have a few conversations that back each other up?
Yeah.
And also allow people to be as independent as they can be, but yet can you be I call it a safe harbour. A safe harbour for people physically and emotionally, but also retreat to your own safe harbour. And in many respects, people think self-care is spas and holidays and Disney. It's often 10 minutes in bed earlier. It's not drinking fizzy drinks. It's drinking and eating wise things. It's, 2 minutes of a lovely reading a day.
Yeah.
It's putting some calm into the day, but it's also thinking, I've done my all. And you can go to bed at night knowing you've lived a lovely day, imperfect, but still lovely.
God, Rebecca, I feel empowered. God, today's a good show. And gratitude that I'm chatting to you today, and hopefully gratitude you're listening as well. We've got Alex O'Neill on the way for you very shortly. And if people want to find you, Rebecca, more importantly, can they find you online? And if they want to get the book, Your Life Joy Year 2, Hopeful Thoughts for Each Day, where can they find the book?
Oh, thank you so much. Well, please join my website. I have a beautiful free newsletter that comes out every Sunday.
I love a newsletter because you're not scrolling then.
No, not scrolling.
Yeah.
And the newsletter has good help in it every week. And sometimes my puppy writes the newsletter for me.
Awesome.
Because obviously I'm a strict mummy who doesn't give her enough treats. So my puppy is ridiculous, but she's joyous. And even having a dog has been a monumental achievement.
Yeah.
So it's drrebecca.org.uk. That's my website. So I have a course for £20. I mean, all my things are affordable. I've got 5 books there. New Year, New Hope. I've got free downloads. There's so much there that doesn't cost anything, that's helpful. And I have a lovely Facebook group. Come and join us, Dr. Rebecca, Life Joy Learning with Dr. Rebecca, and you'll be welcomed with open arms.